When a person sits across from me and hears the word cancer, time stops. I see this happen every day. It is often the most terrifying moment in a person's life. The sudden, overwhelming fear that your own body has gone rogue. Cancer is terrifying predominantly because so much of it is wrapped up in mystery, misunderstanding, and misinformation. But fear thrives in the dark. So today, let's turn on the lights and unravel the mystery to understand what exactly cancer is. Because in my practice, I have learned one absolute truth. The strongest tool we have to fight cancer is knowledge. To understand cancer, we first have to understand normal life. Your body is a masterpiece of organization made up of trillions of individual cells, and every single one of those cells follows very strict rules. They know exactly when to grow, when to divide to replace old or damaged cells, and very crucially, they know when to die. This programmed cell death is a natural, healthy process called apoptosis. But cancer is what happens when a cell decides to break these rules. Imagine a bustling city intersection. The traffic lights control the flow, ensuring order. A cancer cell is a car that ignores the red lights. It doesn't stop. It doesn't die when it's supposed to. Instead, it begins to divide and multiply uncontrollably. One rogue cell becomes two, two becomes four, four becomes eight, and so on. Over time, this uncontrolled division forms a mass, which we call a tumor. It begins to crowd out the healthy tissue around it, stealing nutrients and space. Simply put, cancer is your own body's cells losing the instruction manual. So why does a cell lose its instruction manual? It all comes down to DNA. Every time a normal cell divides, it has to copy its entire DNA, millions of lines of biological code. But sometimes, during this copying process, a mistake happens, a typo, which we call a mutation. Most of the time, this typo is fixed, or your body's immune system finds it, flags the cell as defective, and destroys it. But occasionally, a typo happens in a very specific, dangerous place in the code. Think of a cell like a car. There are genes that act like the accelerator pedal, telling the cell when to grow. We call these oncogenes. Similarly, there are genes that act like the brakes, telling the cell to stop growing. We call these tumor suppressor genes. Cancer forms when a typo permanently jams the accelerator down or completely cuts the brake lines. The cell is now moving at top speed with no way to stop. This brings us to the biggest myth I hear in the clinic, the idea that cancer is just one disease. Because there are thousands of different ways these typos and mutations can happen, cancer is not one disease. It is an umbrella term for over 200 distinct diseases. If you look at the schematics of how a tumor survives, what we call the hallmarks of cancer, you can see that these rogue cells learn to do incredibly complex things. For example, they learn to build their own blood vessels to forcefully feed themselves. They also learn to wear disguises, chemical shields that allow them to hide in plain sight away from your body's immune system. No two cancers are alike. A tumor in the colon behaves entirely different and responds to different therapies than a tumor in the liver or the lung. Even two patients with the exact same type of cancer will have tumors with completely different genetic fingerprints. This staggering variety is why treatments must be highly personalized and why there will never be just one single miracle cure for all cancer. Cancer is complex, but thanks to rapid advancements in medical research, it is no longer an unsolved mystery. We know that it starts with a typo in our DNA that allows a cell to break the rules. But that leaves us with the most important question.
What causes these dangerous typos to happen in the first place? Is it bad luck, genetics, or the environment?
Now that we understand what cancer is, join me in the next video as we look at the evidence behind what causes it, as we dive into the truth behind carcinogens. Hit follow, and I'll see you there.